Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Daniel Mones and I am a second year MBBS student from Bahri University Medical and Dental College. Recently, I was given the task to prepare and present a presentation on the topic of implantation of blastocysts and role of placenta. I divided this topic into three subtopics: the implantation of blastocysts, which I will be emphasizing on, the role of placenta, and the abnormalities, which I will be only touching briefly. One may ask the question that what is a blastocyst? A blastocyst is the stage of development of the embryo prior to implantation. It is a cellular mass of around 100 cells. The implantation of blastocyst is the process of the blastocyst being incorporated into the uterus of the mother. It consists or constitutes four basic steps. The fundamental changes that take place within the blastocyst itself, enabling it to initiate the process of implantation. Changes in endometrium facilitate the implantation process. And lastly, the formation of the closing plug marks the end of the process of implantation. As you can see over here, this is a animated presentation that these are the basic events that constitute implantation. Changes that occur within the blastocyst itself are fundamental to the initiation of the process of implantation. Firstly, the zona pellicula degenerates and is shed off, which results in the hatching of the blastocyst. As there is no restriction with the zona pellicula gone, the rapidly proliferation of the trophoblastic cell layer causes the blastocyst to increase in size rapidly. During this period, the embryo obtains its nourishment from the uterine fluids. The process of implantation begins when the trophoblast cell layer, which is the outermost cell layer of the blastocyst, comes in contact with the endometrium, which is the epithelium of the uterus. Upon contact or adhesion, the trophoblastic cell layer differentiates into cytotrophoblast and the outer syncytial trophoblast. Finger-like cellular processes on the surface of the syncytial trophoblast develop. These penetrate or breach the endometrium and invade further deep into the underlying connective tissue. Of the more important changes that occur within the endometrial changes, the most important are the decidual reaction and the apoptosis of the endometrial cell. Decidual reaction is basically the swelling up of the endometrial cells as they store up more of the lipids, carbohydrates, and proteins, which facilitate or which provide nutrients to the early embryo. It is also the immunologically prevalent site for the receptors. Apoptosis of the endometrial cells, which is actually natural or physiological dying of the death of the endometrial cell, provides space to the invading syncytial trophoblast. So implantation of the blastocyst in the uterus leaves a surface defect on the endometrium. The process of implantation is complete by the second week, and the surface defect on the epithelium is covered by a closing plug, which is actually a fibrin coagulum of blood. Regenerating epithelium covers the closing plug and marks the end of the process of implantation, which is around the 12th day after fertilization. This is a summary of the events that take place from fertilization till implantation, completion of implantation. What is placenta? Placenta is a temporary organ that develops during pregnancy. And to define it, placenta is a fetal-maternal organ that develops during pregnancy having two parts, as the word suggests, fetal part and maternal part. The fetal part is the chorionic portion of the placenta, formed from the villus chorion. It contains the fetal blood vessels and from it develops the umbilical cord. The maternal placenta is the part of placenta that develops from the deciduopizalis of the uterus. The placenta is shed off after delivery. As you can see over here, the maternal blood fills the lacunae and bars the fetal capillaries, but there is a physical barrier between these two, which prevents the maternal blood from coming in contact with the fetal blood directly. This physical barrier, however, does not prevent passage of substances across the membranes. However, it does prevent some immunologically active substances from passing through. The placenta acts as the lungs, the kidneys, and the liver of the fetus. It provides nourishment to the fetus. Nutrients from the maternal blood pass through the placental membrane into the fetal blood. In the same way, oxygen do cross the placental membrane, and over here, the placenta acts as the lungs of the fetus. At the same time that oxygen is diffusing into the fetal blood, waste metabolic substances such as carbon dioxide, urea, and other waste metabolites cross the placental membrane from the fetal blood into the maternal blood. As there is no mixing of the fetal and the maternal blood, the physical barrier also can be likened to as an immunological barrier between the two entities, that is the mother and the fetus. The placenta also produces a number of hormones called the hormones of pregnancy, which are some of which are the human chorionic gonadotropin, human chorionic somatomammotropin, estrogen, and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone during pregnancy are produced at elevated levels. However, they are also produced during the monthly cyclical periods of a woman. And this summarizes the role of placenta and its function. Abnormalities of the implantation are separate and the of that of placenta are separate. However, there is some overlap. I will be only discussing these briefly. The implantational anomalies include the ectopic implantation, which I will be talking on, and the placental anomalies include the abnormal implantation, which by the abnormal implantation I refer to the degree of invasion of the syncytial trophoblast during implantation, the degenerative placental lesions, and the circulatory disturbances. Ectopic implantation is the implantation of the blastocyst at a site other than that of the normal. It may be in the ovary, it may be in the fallopian tubes, it may be in the deep uterus, that is, such as placenta previa, in which there is excessive invasion of the uterus. It can be implanted in the abdomen or even in the pelvis. The complications vary differently among the sites of the implantation. Thank you.